Welcome to another episode of Listen to Us Rant About Movies. I'm Wes Ford.
And I'm Zach Harris.
We rant about movies and drink while we do it. On this episode, we'll be discussing what we've been watching, including a new segment we call Second Thoughts, where we revisit a film we previously disliked to see if we've changed our minds. Also, we will have separate non-spoiler and spoiler rant reviews on John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum, and Olivia Wilde's directorial debut, Booksmart.
Booksmart.
Tonight, we're drinking, I believe, two separate things.
Yep.
I've got Wicked Weed Brewing's Astronomical Hazy IPA.
Sounds wicked, bruh.
Yeah. One quick thing about this. It is 7.7%.
Nice.
It's very strong. Very hazy, got that hazy IPA. Ready to indulge. What do you got?
Hell yeah. I've never tried any from this before. It's Alarmist Brewing, which is a brewery here in Chicago. Pretty close by me, actually. And it's DDH Citra the Juice. It's a New England style IPA.
Hell yeah, good stuff. I love the New Englands.
Yeah, man, it's very nice.
Let's give it a little sip then.
Let's get a sip going. Oh yeah,
it's good stuff. It doesn't taste strong like mine's. Like I said, 7.7%.
Yeah,
it just tastes like a nice, nice subtle kind of like but hoppy IPA. And that's kind of dangerous, you don't taste that liquor.
Yeah, absolutely. Never know with that. Well, mine's pretty good too. It's nice and mellow. Not too intense. I'm liking it.
All right. Well, before we get into our what we've been watching segment, we'd like to remind you that this podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/LTURAM. You can choose from 180,000 titles from your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. And if you like what you hear on this episode, remember you can find other episodes of our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, and YouTube. All right, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Zach, what have you been watching? It's been a month since our last podcast. It's been a while.
Honestly, not much. I really haven't. I think I've logged, looks like 7 or 8 things the past month. So not very many things.
Been a busy boy.
Yeah, busy boy, busy month, I went and saw a movie that I've been heard a lot about, and I hadn't seen their first film, but Bygone's Long Day's Journey into Night, which is like a Chinese gangster movie, romance thriller kind of. But they did Collie Blues last year or 2 years ago, but I know it was like hitting blue and stuff here last year, and I really wanted to see that, but I still haven't. And this was playing at Landmark or at the River East, like right downtown. And I found it was only played for like 3 days, and it's basically like a 2.5 hour long movie where there's an hour and a half build up to a 3D hour long one take. So there's like 90 minutes. The movie starts and like there's like the corny like AMC like put on your 3D glasses now, and everyone is like yeah, and like puts them on like 3, 2 in 3D, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it starts and immediately like this is not a 3D movie, but put on your glasses at the appropriate time with our protagonist or something like that. And everyone was like, huh, okay, huh, And I knew it was later, but I was like, oh, is the beginning in 3D? I don't know. And I put them on. It's like, oh no, for sure. But it's really, really interesting. I really loved it. Really hadn't ever seen anything like it before. It's very slow paced. Kind of strange editing, like very fluid. They'll be talking about something and it'll flash back and then go somewhere else, then come back, and it's all kind of sloshing around. And it's just this guy trying to look for this woman who he knew when he was young, and him like going through all this trouble, and then eventually he goes to a movie theater and he puts on the 3D glasses, and everyone was like, oh fuck yeah, you know, and he sits down and it's like wow, you know, and I was like, oh yeah. And then the title card happens 90 minutes into the movie, which is something that I feel like I would hate in something else, but for some reason it just worked so good and everyone was like, fuck yeah, you know. And then it's apparently no stitching, actual hour-long one take, and it is so good. Unbelievable. The best 3D I've ever seen. Like, so good. It was amazing.
An hour-long take in 3D?
Yeah, and they're like, he like talks to this boy, and then the boy is like, hey, I'll take you out of here, and he gets on this motorcycle, and then they like ride a motorcycle and like have a conversation like up this hill for like a while, and it's just like perfectly following behind them, and then they get to the top and he's like trying to get to the town, you know. He's like, all right, town's down there, and it's like down at the bottom of this mountain. He's like, how do I get down? And there's this like zip line thing, but it's like really slow, so he gets on this like slow moving swing, and then the camera like starts moving with him, and it like goes down the zip line through like a forest, and it's all in 3D. It was just like, this is amazing. Like, so good. Really cool.
That's interesting. Like, they're doing like playing with 3D as something, you know, it's been around, you know?
Totally. But
they're playing with it like as if it's like a new, like it's a new format.
Yeah, because
like, the way they're playing with it.
The change up is really interesting in the movie, because he like positions it as he's like falling asleep and just like has a dream in this movie theater. So like it's all this like weird surreal thing, and it makes it even feel more surreal because now it's this like whole new perspective on like the same thing you've just been watching. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even things like in the first scene that's in 3D, they're just standing in a room and there's just like a bare light bulb hanging from like the middle of the room. It's just like a wide shot. And you just like look at the light bulb in 3D, and I was like, that is fucking amazing, because it's like a lens flare, like a star filter lens flare, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like 360, like tons of them like repeated, you know what I mean? And then I'm just sitting there blown away by a light bulb in 3D, and I'm like, wow, there's so many more cool things people could do with this, you know what I mean? Like,
that's pretty cool.
It was really cool. It's like such an experience, but it was like an event movie where like very little happens, which was kind of really cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like super slow character based event movie. I was in on it. It was really cool.
It sounds like something you have to like go like for like a venue like that, like to really experience it. And...
Yeah, definitely. Or yeah, just like seeing it in theaters. I bet I'll probably still try to watch it again. Because it was still, I mean, it's still obviously very impressive. The like one take, not in 3D, but it just adds a whole other aspect. And they get away with doing things that in another movie I'd be like, oh my god, you know, like something like flies at the camera, or like they're like, let's
normally that's really stupid.
Yeah, they're like, let's play pool. You know what I mean? It's all very tastefully done in it, but like, let's play pool, or like, hey, how about he like rides down the zip line? It's like all just things that like look cool in 3D. You know what I mean? That they like weave into this surreal thing, but it's just like,
it works.
Who cares? Yeah, who cares? It's amazing. Like,
nice.
Yeah.
What's that movie called?
Long Day's Journey into Night.
Interesting.
Very good.
Cool. So I've been watching a lot of TV. I'll talk about some shows, a couple shows. Very briefly, I'll just remind you and the audience that I've still been watching The Sopranos.
Oh, yes, of course.
We talked a while ago about this. I am almost halfway in the last season.
Oh, shit, dude. You're slamming.
I've been slamming them, like binging them.
Uh-huh.
I love
good,
it.
right?
It's absolutely one of my favorite shows.
It's absolutely amazing. It's so good.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I can't wait to see it end. I've been trying to avoid spoilers, but I'm getting there. I'm slamming it so I can like finish it. You know.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, what a just an amazing television event this show was. You know,
it's unbelievably good. So
I really wish that. I wish I was like I had watched it live. You know. But
I only caught the tail end, but it's we'll have to talk about the ending once you watch that one.
Oh yeah.
We
will. The controversial ending, yes.
Yeah.
So probably by the time we have another podcast, the next episode, I'll be done with it.
Yeah, because you got like 8 episodes left or something, right?
Less than that.
Damn.
I think like 6.
So you've already started the second half, because in the second half, like, oh shit.
Yeah. Oh, I've watched the first 3 in the last season.
Oh yeah, you got like 5 or so left.
Yeah, 5 or 6, something like that.
Shit, dude.
Yeah.
You're nuts, Wes.
It's getting good.
It's the best, right? Who's your favorite?
Been binging the hell out of it.
You got any standout moments? Like any? I guess this is probably spoiler time, right? For anyone.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, spoilers for The Sopranos, except the ending. Yeah, I don't know. So much has happened since we last talked. I don't even know where to begin.
Yeah.
Just some of the the killings that happen.
It's insane.
Some of the just like the breakout fights or just waves. Here's a spoiler, I guess, was kind of crazy, was when Junior shot Tony. Shot Tony.
Whoa, because he's just like crazy senile man. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like playing it that way, and like you don't know.
Yeah, I don't really know, but he kind of doesn't remember. So that was really crazy. There's like 3 episodes of him like recovering from that. Man, yeah, just some of the characters being killed.
Yeah.
It's just a great show, and it's so well written.
Totally.
And you know that like Tony is such a fucking asshole, but you root for the guy, you know? You know, like deep down he's got a good heart and he means well and he wants the best for his family. I gotta say, near the end of the show, last thought I'll say, absolutely fucking hate AJ.
Oh yeah, he's like such a little weirdo and like being like a dick and
he's just like a piece of shit kid, you know?
Yeah.
I mean?
What about
we'll see how that evolves.
What about Joe? Because I don't even think you had gotten to Joe Pantoliano yet when we were still talking before. Ralph Cifaretto.
Oh yes, of course. I've gone through his whole thing.
His whole arc. Yeah, he's a fucking crazy character. He's really good on that show. He plays the worst guy ever, but like he's really good on the show.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. He was a great character. I hated him, but like I liked seeing him on screen. He did such a good job. Another guy we didn't talk about, blanking on the name. Hold on. Big Star. What's he in? Damn it.
What's his character?
He's a guy who like gets out of prison, tries to open up the massage.
Robert Loggia? Or no, Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, Steve Buscemi.
Yeah.
I was shocked to see him like show up.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? He directed a lot of it too.
Yeah, I saw that too. Very cool. I didn't know he was in the show at all. So to see him pop up, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, totally.
Loved his whole character and everything there. Lots of good little like cameo stuff with some stars, and I don't know. It's we could keep going, but it's it's a great show and
best show on TV ever.
It's definitely up there. It's definitely probably in my top 5, I'd say. Shows.
We gotta talk about that ending, man. I'm very excited.
Oh yeah, we will. We'll have like a spoiler. In fact, we should do like a Sopranos like retrospective kind of like talk about you. You know what I mean? Like little segment where
Sopranos discussion in for sure.
Yeah, a little segment where we talk about it, talk about the ending, and look back on it. They're making the movie. It's another reason to finish it. So
that'll be good.
All right. Yeah, Sopranos. Check it out if you haven't already.
I guess we both. I watched. Have you been watching Barry? Have you watched that at all? Have we talked
No,
about
I
that?
really want to. I don't know anything. I don't really know much about it, but I plan on watching it at some point.
Yeah, it's surprisingly good, and I feel like it's consistently surprisingly good. And
That's what I've heard.
I'll like, because the log line I was just like, that. Wow, what a horrible idea for a show that I don't want to watch at all. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Except for the fact that the people who are involved, you know what I mean? But like,
Right,
if you told me that log line, I'd be like, no. Like, Assassin wants to become an actor, like such a nightmare. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, such a cliche thing. But I don't know. There was one specific episode earlier this season that was like a crazy standout that was very good. And then it wrapped up really nicely. And, yeah, it's just a banger. It's like, it's almost more impressive because I came in, like, expecting to not like it at all. And it's, like, fully won me over by this point. You know what I mean? And,
wow.
Just, like, constantly, like, wow, okay. Like, pretty surprised by it. It's really good.
There's, it's on the second season, right?
Yeah, it just ended. It ended the same night as Game of Thrones, I think.
Okay. Makes sense. All right. Yeah, I heard there was like a standout one. Everyone's like, it's like under the radar kind of show. Go see this.
And Bill Hader directed that one too, I'm pretty sure, which was cool.
Nice. Yeah. It's his show, right? He created it, right?
Yeah, with Alec Berg, who did
okay.
He's like a writer on like Curb and Seinfeld, and I think he's
That's cool.
Pretty involved in Silicon Valley too, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it was good.
So you've been watching Barry.
Yeah, and then not really much else, man.
Another show I watched, binged through the whole thing. Real easy watch, real fast watch. Have you heard of the show I Think You Should Leave on Netflix?
Yeah, I've watched all of it. It's really good.
Okay. Yeah, it was good. It's very, very bizarre, but very funny.
I feel like some of the sketches go on a little too long, but even when they do,
I would agree.
They've still, like, the beginning is a really good setup. It's like you could have just like cut it shorter. You know what I mean?
I would say there's definitely episodes that are a lot better than others.
Yeah, for sure.
But overall, it's a quick watch. Definitely worth checking out. I think very bizarre type of comedy.
The first one is maybe my favorite, with the door, where he's like, "Oh no, this door opens both ways," and then, like, to prove a point, so because he like can't be wrong, he pulls it. It's like very good.
I think one of my favorites for some reason was the episode with like the YouTube videos.
Oh yeah. No, that I got a really big kick out of that one. No, I definitely have one.
So he goes and like creates a YouTube video to share with everyone.
It's really good. It's very good.
Says it was uploaded an hour ago.
Yeah. It's got one view.
Yeah, it's got one view.
Some about Bozo.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah,
he's
it's
like,
very funny.
He's Bozo, the clown. You get it?
Yeah, it's really
some of those scenarios are so awkward. It's like if you take an awkward situation to its like fullest completion, you know, to like
absolutely
fully play that out. That's what the comedy is. It's interesting.
Tim Heidecker was also really good on it. I liked his bit.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, I guess I think a show I just watched last night. I watched it's a documentary. I watched Game of Thrones: The Last Watch.
Oh, nice. Oh
yeah. It's good. You know, worth checking out. I think started to like drag a little bit near the end, but
is it fluffy?
It's like a little fluffy.
Yeah. Is there a lot of like stuff of them like on the actual set, or is it all like interview stuff after?
Oh, it's a lot of stuff on set.
Okay, that's cool.
It's like mostly on set.
Nice.
And it near the end it starts to follow this one particular guy who's like a background extra. And he's been like a background extra for years, and kind of goes through his journey and his experience, but while also having interviews with the cast and seeing their script reads and showing like how all the sets are made through the the 2 years it took to make it.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, 2 years too long, it's too long to wait. It's like, yeah, because they had to build like 3 cities from nothing.
Yeah. Yeah,
like
totally.
it's kind of I feel bad for the crew because obviously this season got like a lot of hate and everything,
which we hadn't
but when
talked about either, right? Didn't we?
Yeah, we'll get into that I think in a second, but I just want to say just kind of unfortunate that whatever happened with the show and how people feel about it, behind all that there is so much insane work that goes behind it.
Oh yeah, like, absolutely.
It's absolutely insane, like what goes into it.
Like
they had these production offices all around the world, and they're just like constantly working on the show for like 2 years.
Like people,
it's crazy.
For people to sign a petition to like remake the season, it's like fucking relax, like.
Honestly,
how much better do you think you could remake the season? You know what I mean?
You know what that says to me is you're so fucking entitled to just say, oh, I'm gonna make a petition to remake this piece of art. You know what? Fuck you.
Well, yeah, it gets into this whole thing where it's like it's weird because I feel like Star Wars has done this a little bit too, and there's backlash where it's like they kind of give out fan service, and then fans are like, "Fuck you," and it's like, why? You literally asked for this. Like, we're doing this because of you, and then it's like some weird cycle where it's like, are they doing the fan service and ruining it, and then they don't like it, but they're mad because they're getting what they wanted from the fan service? You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's like
100%.
Because shit's better when not every person on the planet is like, make it good. You know what I mean? Like,
I know.
It's better be fucking good. Like,
no matter how it ended, and this is the same thing with The Last Jedi and Star Wars and everything.
Yeah.
No matter how it's fucking made, there's always going to be a large group of people who just hate it.
Yeah.
And then they create this kind of energy, mostly on the internet, and then people bandwagon on it, be like, yeah, you're right. And suddenly you have like all this hate towards this thing that you're supposedly really love.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, it's bullshit, man. It's just like, me personally, about the season, I enjoyed the ride. I enjoyed the season.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it at all. I do think there were some questionable things, like it's not perfect, it's a little messy.
Yeah.
But in the end, it's like, I don't know, man. I kind of didn't expect anything this like super amazing. For me, the writing was already going downhill.
Yeah.
And I wasn't like shocked to see that it was like continuing that trend. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was good. I was like, yeah, it was good. I don't know. Like, it's like I like the show. I like watching it, but I'm not like the most invested. So I felt the same way where it's kind of like, yeah, I kind of liked it generally earlier on better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then when it like gets really big and crazy, it also just kind of feels like, well, yeah, like this is like, I don't know what else they would do. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like there's like little things that you can nitpick where it's like, why'd they do that? That's weird. Why didn't they just kill them? What's that? You know? But like in general, it's like no one's ever going to be satisfied with anything. Would it have been better longer? Probably. Like, I don't know. It gets back to another thing where it's like, I don't know why they just didn't make it a normal season. It's like they're all 90 minutes long, and then you like probably cut a bunch of shit out. It's like you just make that. You know what I mean? There you go. It's already like done.
I definitely think that the show would have benefited from a few more episodes. In fact, HBO said that they would give them 10, and the makers, the showrunners, D&D, as they're being called now,
I'm out.
They're like, they're like, no, we're gonna do it in 8, and so it's rushed. It's different. That no other season of Game of Thrones has felt this way.
I thought it was 6. It was 8. Wasn't it 6?
It was.
Because I think it was the third one was the Night King battle one, and then there were 2 more, and then there was the finale.
Okay, maybe you're right.
Man,
yeah,
I
even 6.
Wrong,
Let's see.
I got it.
I think you're right. Either way, it's like they said that they would get 10 episodes and they didn't make it in 10. You know, so.
I don't. Yeah, because honestly, also I think I think just having them be longer wasn't as good of a move. Like the episodes themselves. Like personally, I felt like they were feeling long. You know.
I don't know. I kind of liked them long personally. Yeah, I liked them being long. Some of them more than others, but
I thought the fourth one was probably the second one was my favorite of the season.
I like the second one a lot too.
Where they're all just like hanging out, being like, "Yep, probably gonna die tomorrow. What are you gonna do?" You know, like.
Yeah, it made a really interesting character study.
Yeah, because it was kind of also like so much plot for everything else that was happening, where it felt like every conversation had like an objective that it was like trying to get down. You know what I mean? That one was the only one that kind of had like time to like chill and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and I liked the finale overall.
Yeah, that was good.
Like, I was like, oh.
There was a lot of stuff that it was like, yeah, this is like what I want in a fantasy thing. Like everyone in hoods sneaking into the city. It's like, this is amazing. You know what I mean? Like, this is what I want to see in a fantasy show. People like, oh, let's go like assassinate, you know, and they're all like snooping around and like the big build up.
Yeah.
And then there's like a sword fight in like a flaming building on a staircase. It's like, yeah, it's amazing.
That's
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like, amazing.
This is literally what it should be, right? I don't know. Am I wrong? Like,
obviously we're talking spoilers, but what'd you think of, you know, like Daenerys getting killed and then Bran becoming king? What'd you think of all that?
I think Bran's just kind of annoying, but also it's not their fault because they cast him when he was a cute youngin, and now he's just like a weirdo.
But also that's his character. It's not his fault. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I kind of think it's the performance that makes it not good for me. Like I kind of just like don't buy his performance.
Well, he's supposed to be like this all-seeing guy.
No,
so he's like off.
I know. It just I like see him trying. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel genuine. Like I feel like if someone could have been, but then again, it's like I don't know. I'm like ragging on a kid who got cast when he was like really young. You know, like I kind
of blame the writing for him personally. I just sort of like. I don't know. Things didn't started to not make sense. Like, he can see into the future, but he can't. And
yeah, it just seems like he's gonna be a terrible king. And they're like, "What do you think we should do?" He's like, "You already know what to do." It's like, "No, I don't. Tell me what to do. You're the king." You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't seem like it's like he goes to that meeting and it's just like, "All right, I don't need to be here, whatever." Like, you all already know. Or like,
he's like, "Oh, I'll take care of it." Meaning he was gonna like warg into that creature. And take care of it.
Okay, sure, man. All right, we'll just like be here like guessing what we should do. You can literally just tell us everything exactly what to do if you know.
Literally, just tell us exactly what to do.
Yeah, totally. How can I make $1 million? Tell me. You know how.
You know how.
And then you just sit there and be like, I'm not going to say anything to you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one definitely like iffy thing I'm not happy with. But other than that, happy with everything else.
If the Three-Eyed Raven was like super cool, I just feel like that's like the coolest concept, and then he's just like kind of a weenie. So like, you know what I mean?
I know, like he could be so much more powerful. Like, why didn't he warg into a dragon or like?
Yeah.
If you know the outcome, like why didn't he fight like the White Walkers somehow? Yeah. Like warging, he warged into those crows and flew around. That's all he did. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah.
This could keep going for on and on and on, but what I want to conclude with is, if you loved it or you hated or even mildly enjoyed Game of Thrones, you should watch The Last Watch, the documentary.
Yeah.
It's on HBO. Go check it out. It's very fascinating just to see the process of how someone even builds something like this, how someone even creates this environment for literally the biggest television show in history.
Yeah.
So, check it out. That's all I gotta say about that. You got anything else on your list?
I guess briefly I can say I watched Creed 2 on a plane.
What'd you think? I haven't seen it yet.
It was good. Not as good as the first one, clearly. Like not nearly as good as the first one. But
first one's so good.
Like still have still have such a soft spot for boxing movies for some reason, and it's enjoyable. But he's just the motivations are like you just kind of have to buy them to like get with the movie, but it's just kind of frustrating. Just like, don't do it, dude. You know what I mean? Because he's like, right. Should I take the fight? Should I not take the fight? It's like, yeah, just like, don't take it. You're doing good. You know what I mean? Like, everyone around him just like, don't take it, dude. Don't be proud. And he's like, I'm proud. And it's like, yeah, I guess. Like, but still, like, I didn't like hate it for that reason. But I just was like, whatever. I'll just watch it for. I actually really like Sylvester Stallone in it. He was really good. Nice. Fucking just like just mumbling around, talking to himself.
Yo, Adrian.
Yeah. I'm getting old, man. I can't be coaching no more. You know.
You can't do it.
Yeah. But yeah.
You know, I fought your old man.
It was fun. It was worth watching for sure. Like, definitely made the plane ride go by fast. But nice. But also, you know, whenever I enjoy something on a plane, it's like, how much of that was the plane? You know what I mean?
Right.
I can never fully trust the rating, because it's just like, you always bump everything up on a plane. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because you're like, you're on a fucking plane. It's like, okay, sweet. Like, got this nice screen I can watch on. This is good.
That's true. But sometimes it's like, it's like a small screen.
Yeah.
Depends on the headphones you got.
And I have watched movies that I haven't liked on a plane. So it's like, you know. Yeah. But then I also watched like the Death Note US remake on a plane. And I was like, yeah, it was pretty good, dude. You know, it's like, was it?
I heard people hated that.
Yeah. But it wasn't, I mean, I didn't love it. But
right.
It was like, oh, that was like, I watched the whole thing. You know? Like, I don't think I would have otherwise.
Nice. All right, one last movie I'll talk about. So it's a few weeks ago now. I watched Pokemon Detective Pikachu.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Yeah, I went with some friends who wanted to go, and I was like, oh, I'm probably not going to see this by myself, so I went with them, and honestly had really low expectations. I was like, I'm literally only going because some friends are going. First of all, what's your experience with Pokemon?
I was
like, did you play the games, or?
I played the games and had the cards first, then the games, and then
So you could say you were like a decent fan when you were a kid.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Had the big binder with the slats. In
okay.
Yeah.
I had the cards. I played like all the Game Boy Color games.
Mm-hmm.
That was my generation. The Game Boy Color did blue, red, yellow. And then I did gold and silver, and that's where I stopped. Mm-hmm. But I was into I had some toys, and I had the cards. Really into cards for a good while. Yeah. And some of the video games. But I will say, going into this movie, it really rekindled those feelings. Like, it brought back those feelings of liking Pokemon. It's like, shit, man. Like, now I'm like really excited because they're coming out with a new game at the end of the year for the Nintendo Switch, a new Pokemon game.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I'm fucking getting it. I can't fucking wait. Like, I can't wait.
Yeah.
So the movie worked, right? That's the point.
So is it just going to be, is it going to be though like a good old Pokemon game, or is it going to be like a weird like offshoot one, or is it like a new version of like a Pokemon Yellow, a Pokemon?
It's like, it's supposed to be like the next generation. So.
Okay, nice. Because for a while they were getting funky,
new
and it was like Pokemon themed games, but they weren't like the gameplay of like the old ones. Yeah. They've been having those, and I've stayed away from those. But this is like exciting. It's called Pokemon Sword, Pokemon Shield. It's like the next generation. So it's like a new story, new Pokemon, classic, handheld type of thing. Yeah. And anyway, that's about the game. But the movie really did rekindle some of those feelings, and the world building was fantastic. The world building was great. The Pokemon looked great. Hell yeah.
And it's kind of bizarre that for our first like live, quote unquote, live action Pokemon movie, we get this story called Detective Pikachu, which is literally a Pokemon noir story.
Yeah, it just seems like a really weird place to start.
Yeah, it's kind of ballsy and shocking. But I love that they did that.
Mm-hmm.
The way it's shot is very noir-esque. It's got some vibes of like Blade Runner and just classic noirs,
Mm-hmm.
like with the blinds through the lights at night, lots
Yeah,
of rainy streets and neon lights, that kind of thing. And the lighting looks so good, and they shot it on 35 millimeter
nice.
actually.
Hell yeah.
And so the Pokemon themselves, they put that like filter over the 3D animations. And so they have like this really organic look to them. They look like palpable. They look real. More than like other CGI things. And so I think that was really, really effective. That being said, the story is, it's a Pokemon movie. It's kind of a kid's movie. A little bit of adult humor in there as well. And a kind of shocking story development near the end that I can't believe they actually did. Not necessarily in a good way. Okay. But that's a big spoiler. I won't say that. But yeah, overall, I had a lot of fun watching it. I would say if you like Pokemon, check it out when it comes out on HBO or something.
Yeah, that's a definite HBO watch for me.
Yeah.
I'm always checking HBO on Sunday. It's like, oh, what garbage you put up here, man.
Yeah.
Like Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle. I'm talking Skyscraper.
Yeah.
Detective Pikachu.
Yeah, this will probably be on there. But yeah, the world building's great. Looks great. And I was honestly very surprised by it. I went in thinking it was not going to be good. Nice. And it was actually very, very enjoyable, very fun. So
I do like the way that the Pokemon look. Like the weird, like realistic textured cartoon character. It's like it looks weird. I like it.
And what's good is like, the whole thing with Sonic and how he looks all weird. Yeah. They're like going back and like redoing him. Pokemon, it works because they didn't change the design. They just they just added like a realistic texture to them. Mm-hmm. They didn't try and make them look like these weird, like quote unquote realistic, like nasty looking versions of them or like grotesque animal-esque. Mm-hmm. They literally look like the cartoon, but they have like fur and hair and shit.
Yeah, totally.
And that I think works because you can still know what it is, but it just looks real. It's still the Pokemon,
It's like in a sci-fi world, right? It's like not.
It's like an alternate reality.
Yeah.
Like a Pokemon city where it's like an alternate Earth type of thing. Sure. Yeah.
So yeah, making sure they weren't doing like a Pokemon in New York. You know what I mean?
No. It's like a made up city.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Yeah. And another thing too, I think it brings up an interesting element in like the Pokemon universe that what is it like if like really confronting the battle thing? Like, is that really like, is that okay? That we like kind of force these creatures to like fight for us. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It kind of confronts that a little bit, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah. It's weird. It's like taking a take on it. Yeah.
It's
interesting. Would not expect that from the movie.
Yeah. No, it's clever. It's better than like doing like the classic Ash story again for the 1000th time.
Yeah, totally.
Whatever. So yeah. Anyway, Pokemon Detective Pikachu. That's gonna end what we've been watching segment. Mm-hmm. We're going to move on to our new segment. We realized last episode that we forgot to give each other forced films.
Yeah.
And we realized this off the air. So we thought, you know what? Let's just take this opportunity to do something a little different. We're going to do something called Second Thoughts. It's where we still force each other to watch something, but it's a film that we each have seen before that we didn't really like in the past. Mm-hmm. And so we go back and rewatch it and give our opinions, see if those have changed or they've stayed the same.
Yeah.
And the two films we chose, for Zach, I gave him My Own Private Idaho. Mm-hmm. And you gave me Contagion.
Yep.
So, Zach, first talk about maybe how you felt about My Own Private Idaho back in the day. And then how do you feel about it now?
Well, I watched My Own Private Idaho in high school and hated it. And it was when I was like probably like my freshman year of high school, when I was like first like really trying to just watch as much as possible. Found out about Criterion, so it was like slamming through all those. And yeah, I just remember really not liking it, and then also not liking some of his other stuff that I had seen. I remember liking Milk, but not like Paranoid Park or Elephant, just like being very anti him for some reason. But I've since come to like some of his newer stuff, and yeah, and rewatching it, I think I had a greater appreciation for it, absolutely, and I definitely liked it more, but I wouldn't say I loved it.
Okay.
I think there's still some aspects, some of the kind of more like fantastical things that happen, like the weird thing with the magazine covers, like some of that I really like a lot. Like I really like that sequence, and some of the other stuff, but I think for me a big thing that I don't care for is like the way that everyone speaks. And I know they're going for like the sort of like old like play sort of, thing, and I get what it's going for, and it's kind of like a Clockwork Orange where all the speech is this weird thing that you have no connection to, but I also think that in a movie where you're like empathizing with these people that are like basically just real people in a real world, it kind of just makes it more alienating. You know what I mean? Because you're presenting this story that's like very feasible, but played up to like a weird degree that I feel like I'm still like constantly distanced by it. But I can also understand drawing someone in more also. So I think also at the time I just wrote it off because I was like, yeah, it's boring. Who cares? You know what I mean? I was like a freshman in high school, so I was pretty brutal on everything. But I will say,
we all were.
Yeah. I definitely have like a greater appreciation for it. But I didn't love it.
Okay. Well, then it was somewhat successful, where you came back
and I kind of figured it would be that way. It's like, this is an important movie, and I feel like I can definitely see like why. It's very clear like why this connected with so many people, and it's good. It's a good thing, but I just don't know if it's like my bag. It's like not successful for me. You know what I mean?
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
What would you rate it now?
Probably like a 3.5. Like good, good, but not my bag. Like I get it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good. That's solid. All right, cool. So for me, I watched Steven Soderbergh's Contagion.
Yeah.
When this came out in 2011, which honestly it feels like it was older than that, but I guess it's only 2011. 8 years now. I did not like it. I did not like this movie.
Yeah.
And I remember specifically the ending. I was just like, what the fuck? Like, I was kind of like pissed because I guess there wasn't like to me at the time, my thought was there wasn't like a very clear answer to anything, or it was like an unsatisfactory ending. But going back and being, I would say, definite fan of Soderbergh's work, I had the same kind of feelings you did. I definitely appreciate the film. I don't love it, but I definitely liked it. I liked it, and I really was enjoying the experience of watching it.
Yeah.
Which was nice, and I definitely appreciated a lot more the way it was shot. Oh my god, I forgot like how many people were in this fucking movie.
It's fucking nuts. It's such like a globetrotter. It's going all over the place, and like
it's
so much going on. Yeah.
So much talent in front of the screen and behind. But I liked it. I liked the film. And I would say it's I'm glad that I revisited it.
Nice.
Because I had bad memories of it. But
Excuse me.
yeah, it was entertaining. I was thrilled. And I really got to, since I've seen a lot more of Soderbergh's work now, and I am definitely a fan of him, loved kind of revisiting something like that too, to sort of see how his work plays out and sort of noticing his style within that. I really liked the color grading, how it was like all this like yellowish
color. He's
color.
always leaning into like the weird available like lighting source or whatever. It's cool. Yeah,
it was very yellow throughout. I liked how it leaned into that. Yeah. I don't know what else to say.
How'd the ending play for you this time? Do you like the ending more?
Yeah, I like the ending. I was like, oh, okay. I don't know why I was like so pissed before, you know? It's just like, okay. No, it's like a Soderbergh ending, but it's not, it wasn't like, like I was angry before for some reason, but
well, it does kind of leave it hanging, but it like backtracks.
It leaves it hanging.
It backtracks in an interesting way that like buttons it up still, I think.
Right. No, there's still like a little button on there, and I was like, okay, yeah. So I'm like, oh, all right. I'm satisfied enough to where it's like, okay, I get it. It's kind of like, that's what he does. He likes to go into like moments in time and sort of really get into these characters going through something a lot of the time, like going through an experience, seeing how they react, how they feel, how their dialogue plays out and how they interact, and then you're out, you know.
Yeah.
That's what I get from it, at least.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, thought it was cool. And it's also very terrifying. Like, yeah, this could totally happen. We'd be fucked.
Yeah,
you know, like,
totally.
It's kind of insane. Like, I don't think a movie had ever touched on the fact, like, oh, you touch your face and how easily, like, things could spread. Like, I don't think a movie had ever touched on that before.
I heard that he like, finished the movie and then recut it, like, almost entirely to, like, follow the disease linearly as opposed to the stories of the characters. Like, I think it was more segmented before.
Okay.
But then he like re-edited it to actually follow the through line of the disease itself. So like that's kind of what you're
I like that
through.
Better.
I think it's a cool idea.
That. Yeah, I agree. I kind of like seeing it play out and how it's affecting through time. What's happening. I liked that. But yeah, I'd give it a 3.5.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
I enjoyed it. I appreciate it. Didn't love it, but I'm glad I watched it.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. So that's gonna be our that's the end of our second thought films. It's a segment we might bring back, another time. We'll see. But for next episode, I think we're gonna bring back our forced films.
Oh yeah.
And we're going to give each other something new. What, Zach? What are you giving me?
I'm gonna give you The Devils, Ken Russell movie.
Nice. The controversial film.
Yep.
I watched like the first 5 minutes like years ago. I never finished it, so that's barely considered watching it. I will take that. And I will give you a follow-up to a film that I made you watch in the past. I'm going to make you watch Paddington 2.
All right. That sounds good. Paddington 1 was
superior one.
A lot of fun, so I'll definitely watch Paddington 2. Fuck yeah. All right.
I think Paddington 2, it made it in my top 10 that year.
Quite the
didn't it?
Quite the disparity between these two titles.
Yes. Completely different
Pretty
movies.
opposite movies.
Absolutely.
Pretty funny.
And that'll make for a good discussion for sure. All right, now let's get into our non-spoiler review of John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum, starting right now.
You have no idea what's coming.
Mr. Wick broke the rules. I trust you understand the repercussions if he survives. John Wick, excommunicado, is now in effect. You shouldn't be here. Nice suit.
Good to see you, too. I need your help.
After this, we are less than even.
There's no escape for you. The High Table wants your life.
Would you help set the mood for our new guest?
Let us begin.
All right, that was from the trailer of John Wick 3. It's the follow-up, obviously, to John Wick 2, followed up almost immediately after. And here's a description from IMDb. Super assassin John Wick is on the run after killing a member of the International Assassins Guild, and with a $14 million price tag on his head, he is a target of hitmen and women everywhere. Obviously, we're going to be spoiling John Wick 1 and 2. You got to go see those movies before you see this one. But yeah, Zach, what did you think of, non-spoilers, John Wick 3?
It was fun. I thought it was better than John Wick 2. Probably not as good as John Wick 1. But in there. But a weird thing where I think John Wick 1 is a better movie and John Wick 2 is probably has more of like what you would actually want out of it. You know what I mean? For like if people are going to see it for just like outrageous violence, then the third one's probably your best bet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd say overall I really loved the first 45 minutes. Like I was like, this is so good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it just the relentlessness of it kind of started to. It's just a little long, and also
took a toll.
I feel like every time I caught myself really liking it, I was just reminded by how like terrible it was. You know what I mean? It's like there's just like something like really gruesome would happen that like I didn't need, or there would be some like very pro-gun like weird thing that happens that's like jerk off gun porn type stuff, and it's like, okay, didn't need that, you know. But overall I thought it was fun. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. To your point, I think the fetishizing on the guns is like a little it's not for this age anymore. You know, I think it's 2019. It's sort of it's kind of icky a little bit, but that being said, I really liked the movie. I had a great time. I liked it more than John Wick 2. I would say that I think John Wick is a better film overall because you have these emotional connections, and I think John Wick 3 completely starts to just split off from that. Yeah, severs all those ties, and it is just a insane action movie. Yeah, which has its own value, you know. Without giving into details yet, I think that has like the first 45 minutes you have probably two of the most ambitious action sequence set pieces that I've seen in a long time. Like, on par almost with like Mission Impossible Fallout, you know, like totally. It's insane, like some of the stuff he's doing, and the fact that Keanu Reeves, he's like in his 50s, you know, doing this stuff. Good. It's crazy. But yeah, very entertaining, very fun. I am a fan of the series. I do think that I don't have like we were saying the emotional connection like in John Wick 1. You really feel that, and it's painful. But yeah, this movie kind of also starts to, I think, collapse under its own weight of like the expanded world it's starting to create. You know, it's like it's becoming almost too big and like too much, like all the lore. Yeah. Which I like, but it's starting to get outrageous.
They're really steering into it, and it's like not a thing in the first one. So it just kind of makes it feel like it's a separate thing. Like it doesn't even need to be John Wick. Like this movie could have just come out and just like been not John Wick, and it would have been fine. You know what I mean? It doesn't really need to be at all. Same with the sequel. Like I feel like they both could have been just like, you know, an action movie with Keanu Reeves where you just set that up.
Well, that's why like the second one was so shocking. You know, it was just like, because none of that lore existed. You never got a sense of what this organization was before, and the second one was like, whoa, crazy, because it opened that up. It opened the door to that, and now you've seen the door, you've gone through it, and you're in the world.
And it's like
fully
it's sort of just like going, like they're really hammering it home.
And I think definitely there are some scenes we'll talk about, but it was kind of strange and just like, why did they go there and actually do that? It started to get a little messy towards the end, but I think that the action is absolutely insane, very fun. I was like yelling out loud. Great choreography.
It was fun seeing with like a packed theater too. Everyone was freaking out the whole time. Like it was fun. I enjoyed
definitely
that.
lots of laughs, lots of gasps. Good experience. Definitely worth checking out in theaters if you've seen the other two films. But yeah, that kind of sums up my non-spoiler thoughts, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't have much more to say. Fun action, but for every like 8th point blank headshot, it was like, wow, he's like really killing a lot of people. You know what I mean? Like, just like every now and again would set in a weird way that like made me feel like I was having less fun, but then eventually it would like pull me back in again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah.
One other thing I'll say is I thought it like looked great too. Like the cinematography.
It did.
Was
it looked
nice.
really nice. It was very slick.
Yeah.
Lots of colors, high contrast.
I'll be getting it on 4K.
Yeah, that'll be a nice 4K for sure.
Then I'll have the whole set on 4K. I already got the other two.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, cool stuff. All right, we're going to go into spoilers then for John Wick 3.
Are services still off limits to me? What do you need? Guns. Lots of guns.
You think you can take John Wick? You've got a nasty surprise coming.
I've been looking forward to meeting you for a long time. And so far, you haven't disappointed.
We can keep this up as long as you'd like. But this only ends one way.
All of this for what? Because of a puppy?
Wasn't just a puppy.
All right, spoiler town. I guess the first thing I want to say is like the scene I was talking about earlier, where it's like, why did they really do that? Was the whole desert thing. That was kind of dumb, to be honest.
It was laughable, which was kind of fun for a point. Just like
it's kind of
laughing
fun
at like him walking up like a dune. It's like, ah! You know, like helicopter shots. It's like, okay, this is like so ridiculous, but the rest of the movie like never really goes that silly. So it's like, is this kind of like tongue in cheek? It's like, I don't know if it is. It's kind of serious.
I don't know if it is. Yeah, because it's weird. It's not fully explained. Like that guy is like above the high table, and how you find him is you follow the stars and through the desert until you're almost dead, and then keep walking, and then he'll find you if he chooses.
Yeah.
And so he does that?
Yeah, it's just kind of weird.
It's like, okay.
It just was like some excuse to get them to like have that scene where the dogs kill all the people, which was pretty cool. I
liked the dogs.
The dogs, yeah.
That was pretty badass.
Like, it's just something you haven't seen, you know? It seemed like they were like definitely upping the stakes and thinking about that. It's like, what haven't we seen?
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah. I mean, and every scene was like something you haven't seen before. Like all the action scenes. I mean, it's just like absolutely insane. Going back to the beginning, I think the knife fight's my favorite.
Oh, it's the best part of the whole movie for sure.
It's fucking amazing.
But then even at the end of the knife fight, like I like turned to TJ. I'm seeing it with him. And I was like, this is amazing. You know what I mean? Like this is really good. Like we're in for a treat right now. But then he like grabs the last guy and like there's that close up of him like violently like and slowly like stabbing like a knife like into his eye, and it's just like I didn't need that part. Like a guy getting like 12 knives thrown at him was enough. Like you're like reminding me how gross it is. You know what I mean?
There's a couple moments where it's like, too far.
Yeah, totally.
You know?
And like him killing the guy with the book, good.
Yeah.
But then him like elbowing
insane.
his neck over the book after he like broke his jaw off, it's just like, you know what I mean? Or he'll like shoot, he'll like jump up, shoot a guy twice, point blank in the face, and then be like leaving and like shoot him again. It's like, you shot him twice, like 3 inches away from his face. He's done. It's over. You know what I mean? Like,
it's just one of my favorite things about John Wick though, in all the movies. Like he's so fast.
Yeah,
you know?
Totally.
Which is kind of cool too. I think it glorifies that a little in the violence more in this one. But the other ones were cool because it wasn't like, oh, look at his head exploded, blood going everywhere. It was like just boom, 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 boom. He's like a quick, efficient assassin.
Yeah,
you know?
totally.
And that's what I always liked about the movies. But now you're seeing a little more of the detail. And
it seems like they're
up in the stakes.
They're up in the shock value a little bit. So they threw in some like kind of gross out gore, which just like, oh no, don't remind me that these are all people. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
He kills like fucking 200 people in this movie. It's insane.
He kills so many people.
But the beginning where he's just it starts and he's like running away and he's like, fuck, I gotta go. And then for like 30 minutes, it's just guys like, oh, there he is. Let's move on him. And then they move on him and he kills them all. And then he like goes around and then it's like, another group of guys, they're coming. It was just like waves of enemies. It was like, this is amazing. Like, please just be this the whole movie and then just end. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, it was awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Loved all that. I think the Halle Berry stuff was like totally an excuse to just have Halle Berry like kick some ass with him.
Yeah, absolutely. It felt so disjointed
was cool.
and weird in the movie, but like the action scene was cool.
It's pretty cool.
They just had the idea for the scene, and they're like, all right, how do we, like, get that to happen in here? And it's like, oh, you just, like, goes there.
That's also in the first 45 minutes, I think, is with the horse.
Yeah.
I loved that, too.
Yeah,
like,
the horse
him being
amazing.
on the horse. Like, getting the horse to kick the guys, and then, like, riding the horse is it's fucking amazing.
The shots where he kicked the horse kicked them were insane. It was so goofy. It's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
Just because you could tell that they had to like shoot it a certain way, so it would like cut just like a nice flat wide shot of it going.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Real horse too.
Yeah.
Apparently.
It's good.
They really got the horse to do that. But yeah, I another thing that I find kind of funny about Keanu Reeves, like in general, like. I don't know, I just like realized at one point I was like, this guy, like his character especially, and him in most movies, he can't like say words.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he like at the very end she's like, John Wick, are you pissed off? He like looks in the camera, he's like, yeah. Like real he can't say words. It's so hard for like Keanu Reeves to like speak, you know what I mean?
It's really
like,
funny.
Yeah. But anyway, what'd you think of? I thought the fight at the end was pretty cool too. With,
the glass
like
room
in the tower.
Yeah, like
glass
throwing him through the
room.
floor. I guess that was the only one though where I could tell which once again very understandable, but it's like when he's getting thrown through all those glass cases, I feel like you could like see him like waiting for the hit. You know what I mean? He was just standing there going like, whoa. Just like with his hands up, and then they would just like hit him in the chest. Then you go and just like smash into the, that was like the only time where I could like see it a little bit.
You can see like the choreography.
Yeah.
I thought Mark the Cascos.
Who's that?
He was the he's like the samurai guy.
Oh, okay.
One of the ninjas, like the lead ninja guy.
Okay, yeah.
In the glass room that he fights,
Yeah,
where he's like, good fight.
Yeah, totally.
He was good. I liked his character.
Yeah, totally. It was good.
And then in the very end, very end, you have the action scene where they like really up the stakes. These guys have like body armor.
Mm-hmm.
And so you got to like put in like 4 shots where you normally put 1 or 2. Oh, it was kind of crazy.
It was nuts. Like sneaking them in, like the sides of the armor and stuff. It was wild.
Yeah, finding the weak points.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was cool because it's so easy for him to kill guys. It really felt like it was really making it harder for him. Like, oh, here's a real challenge, you know? Like,
yeah.
You got to do 2 or 3 times the amount of shots and bullets to these guys before they're like down.
Mm-hmm.
That was a creative way to do that. I don't know. It was a lot of really good action scenes.
Yeah, very
loosely
well
tied
choreographed,
together
super
with
tight.
plot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Lawrence Fishburne
Cool.
in it a disappointing amount, and then weirdly drinks a Fanta at the end.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
It's like it pushes out, it like cuts to like a Fanta bottle, and it like pulls out, and he's like, it's like, what is this weird Fanta shot at the end of this movie? Like, what the hell's going on?
Product placement.
Yeah, really weird. But yeah, overall I enjoyed it though. It was fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts?
Not specifically. I feel like it was such like a mind-numbing experience. I like barely remembered the movie after I left. You know what I mean? Like past like a certain point. It's just like
you just get bombarded. Yeah.
Just so many cuts so fast, and like all this like it's like really intense colors too. It's just
yes.
Like, it's like, oh my god! Like my ears need a rest. This is crazy.
It felt longer than it actually was too.
It felt very long, I would say. When they're like up on the rooftop, it's like, all right, that's it. You know what I mean? Like, here we go.
Yeah, it kept going
But it's
and
just
going.
like, oh no, there's plenty more, bud. Like,
it's because it's relentless action,
yeah.
man. Cool. Well, I would give it 3.5 stars.
Yeah, I'll give it 3.5 too.
It's what I rated all the others.
Mm.
I don't know. I guess on stars they look the same, but
yeah, I feel like
I would say John Wick 1
one's
the best. Yeah,
is for me.
Yeah, I agree. Cool.
Well, cool, man.
Well, that's gonna end our review of John Wick.
But hold on,
3.
Wes.
Oh,
before we get into our second review, do you forget what we talked about earlier?
I'm not sure what you're talking about. Maybe just refresh me.
The free deal from the sponsor, man. We gotta.
Oh, that's a pretty good deal. Why don't you talk about that again, Zach?
For the listeners of the Listen to Us Rant About Movies podcast, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day free trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. To download your free audiobook, go to audibletrial.com/LTURAM. Again, that's audibletrial.com/LTURAM for a free audiobook.
Guys, we still got this free audiobook going down.
Have any of you downloaded audiobooks yet?
I know. It's like you're listening to a podcast. Why don't you listen to a free audiobook? Free.
Yeah.
Just like this podcast is free. You get a free audiobook as well. You get to keep it for life.
It's a fucking
check it out.
free goddamn book you listen to.
A whole book. It's insane. Let's move on to our second review. We're going to talk non-spoilers for the new film that just released wide in theaters. This is Olivia Wilde's Booksmart.
We missed out. We didn't party because we wanted to focus on school and get into good colleges. And it worked. We are not one-dimensional. We are smart and fun. Woo!
Excuse me.
We have to go to a party tonight.
What?
What took them 4 years, we're doing in 1 night!
No.
Not acceptable.
This is not okay.
Who allowed you to be this beautiful?
Who allowed you to be this beautiful?
Who allowed you to take my breath away?
Prepare to get bashed!
Not in like a violent way, completely consensual bash. Prepare to get consensually bashed, they'll say. I'll have them change it.
That was from the trailer of Booksmart. On the eve of their high school graduation, two academic superstars and best friends realize they should have worked less and played more. Determined not to fall short of their peers, the girls try to cram 4 years of fun into one night. I saw this a few days ago.
I saw it yesterday.
Nice. So it's super clear and fresh for you, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Non-spoiler thoughts. What'd you think, Zach?
I liked it. I thought it was good. It was definitely bigger than I thought it was gonna be. I guess I had seen the trailer, but I only had seen it once, so a little while ago, and I guess I was expecting it to feel like more grounded, but it very much felt like kind of like a big like high school comedy, you know, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just had like the stereotypical high school characters in it, like more than I anticipated. Like it was more of something that like would never actually happen, like things that happen in this that would never ever happen in like any high school. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
for sure.
But I still thought it was funny, and I think the main thing is I just really liked the main two characters, and I thought their performances were really good. So, like, no matter what happened in the movie, I feel like I always still liked watching them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I would agree. I thought it was very funny, very good. I think, honestly, I built it up high in my head because I thought it was going to be... that was going to blow me away.
Insane reviews. Everyone fucking loved it.
Insane reviews.
Yeah.
People fucking love it. And I would say I get where they're coming from, but I also thought it'd be more grounded, and it ended up being a lot more of... It was almost exactly like Superbad, plot-wise.
But almost maybe even, like, less realistic. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Maybe. They both kind of have that, like, things that would never happen.
Yeah, yeah.
You have the stereotypical characters.
I'm definitely forgetting about a lot of things that happen at the end of Superbad. They were all, like, I was remembering them. It's like, actually, definitely, maybe a little more. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Anyway, this is definitely feels more, like, in its time. It's a 2019 high school movie. It made me feel like I was ingrained in that time. It's like, oh, wow.
Yeah,
I'm getting old. But also, I really like the two main characters. I thought they had a really good chemistry as best friends, and they felt like genuine friends, like this really good friendship, and just realistic characters. I don't know. I thought they did a good job.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I especially the main character, the like. Molly is her character name? No, the other one.
Caitlin Dever? Beanie Feldstein?
Yeah. I thought she was extremely good.
Yeah, she was good. They were both great.
Yeah, it just it was a little broader and just bigger than I thought, and sometimes it was really funny though. Like I still like laughed at quite a bit of the jokes, but
oh yeah, me too.
I feel like I had a point a second ago. I'm losing it. Losing it, Wes.
Okay. Maybe we'll come back to you. But I also thought, wow, there's a lot of not that you and I can really speak on this, but there's a lot of LGBTQ kind of representation there, which was kind of nice and almost like pushing the envelope for queer representation. With the one of the main characters, I thought was like ballsy, but also like, you know, it needs this natural and it needs to happen. Like this needs to be in more films, and that was kind of the thing that maybe I like about the movie, but I didn't necessarily like about it specifically. If that makes sense, it was like I like that, like this movie. I think I would have liked more if the humor was more, you know, real and it felt more genuine in like the narrative that happens. But big movies like that are seemingly more accessible to people, reach a wider audience, so things
like that, like just having the main character, you know, be gay is just, it's like, oh, good. Now there's just like one of these high school movies that is, you know.
Right.
Yeah. Instead of.
And I totally get why. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, just instead of like, it's almost a bummer that it is more of a generic high school comedy, but it's like taking the place of one that has good representation in it. So it's like, oh, okay, like,
yeah,
if it's gonna be one of those, at least it's doing something. You know what I mean? And it's like accessible
right.
for people to watch and everything.
Yeah, it has its own twist on that narrative, and I kind of get to like why these movies have to be big and less grounded, because for one, it's more memorable. It's supposed to be like this all-out comedy, and the whole idea is that they go on this one crazy night, their last chance. Of course, they get into all these insane shenanigans. I totally get the motivation behind that as well, and it's still kind of like we said, it has its own twist on that, and where it goes. But overall, yeah, really thought it was very funny, very, very entertaining, and I thought the music was good. I thought the characters were pretty good.
There were a couple moments of score where I was like, oh, it's a banger. The one, I don't remember what it was. There was one like little sad bit of score, like with a weird like pump organ that I was like, ooh, this is daddy like. This is real nice, you know?
Yeah. But cool. So should we give ratings now?
Are we doing a spoiler?
Yeah, let's do spoilers, and then we'll give our ratings.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into spoilers for Booksmart. Starting now.
Don't move. Don't inhale.
My.
What the fuck is this?
Ask the questions.
Tonight is your night.
Oh, you're bringing Ling Ling.
Oh, make her feel good.
Make it stop.
Please don't put your face on the face.
Not on the head.
Make thy plans to attend the drama department's summer program, Shakespeare in the Park. Getting live.
It's what we did in my summer program last year in Barcelona, when I lived in Barcelona.
I guess my main thing is like, I guess not the main problem with the movie, but moments like when the one girl jumps off the boat and like they shoot off all these fireworks.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think the idea of him having this yacht party and no one's there, it's like, you know, no one's going to be there. They walk up and it's like, ooh, this is brutal. You know what I mean? And it's funny, and that character's pretty funny, but then it like jumps into this realm where she like jumps off. And I feel like there's also a bit of like a weird pacing thing where it just kind of felt like it didn't feel gradual. Like she jumps off and I was like, what? And then it just cuts to them like running away. Like, that was crazy. All right, who can we get a ride from? And like, all right, another car scene, and then another like weird, another party that they end up going to that isn't the party, and then they escape that, and then another car scene, and then another, you know, set piece character thing. Yeah. Whereas I feel like I liked the movie a lot more once they actually just got to the party.
Yeah.
Like I felt like I would have liked it. Like if they had just, I didn't almost need it to be some like crazy adventure there. Like if they just got there and it was like the ebbs and flows of like a high school party.
One party.
Yeah. I feel like, because I haven't really seen that necessarily done in a movie.
That would be different.
Yeah.
That would be different and interesting. Yeah.
But that's also,
you can still hit those highs and lows.
Yeah.
You know, you can still hit those highs and lows, but at one location, or at least around it or something.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, that's interesting.
But that's also like not what it is. So whatever. But
yeah, well, it kept going on this journey, and then at one point I was just like, I just want them to like just be there already. You know, I wasn't like I wasn't down for them to be like, oh, I wonder what crazy place is next. I was just like, can they just like be at the party now?
Yeah,
you know?
Totally. Because you're rooting for them, So and then again, it's like, you know, things are meant to be frustrating, but it's just like get there. I just like want to watch them there, you know?
Yeah.
Because it also ends pretty soon. Like they get there and everything like takes off right away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. There's also a few like humor things that felt a little much. Like I love Will Forte, but those parents didn't feel. Especially the first scene felt a little weird.
Yeah.
But I thought that one at the end was funny. With the
that one at the end was very funny. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I definitely really enjoyed it though. I laughed. It seemed like everyone really liked it in the theater though, too.
Yeah.
It had a disappointing weekend. Yeah, apparently.
Did it?
I was reading all these things, people saying that like Annapurna bombed. They like bombed on the marketing because it was like supposed to be a huge hit, and I think it made like 9 million or something really small.
To be fair, I don't think they did enough marketing for it, and also it had to compete with Aladdin, which took off this weekend.
Yeah,
it made a lot of money. If you're still listening, you guys should go see small indie films like Booksmart over Aladdin.
How much was this made for, though? It's like, is this a small indie movie? It, like, doesn't feel like it. Maybe it is.
I mean, it's not that big of a budget. I'm not sure.
I guess, like, I thought and not to say that, like, being an indie movie has any bearing over the content of your movie, you know? But I guess just I thought it was a small indie movie, and then the movie very much just feels like a large commercial comedy. You know what I mean? Which is not a bad thing.
It's not like it's not like a big studio movie.
Well,
though.
I'm not saying it's a big studio movie. It's just it felt more like that than I thought it did. Than I thought it would.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel you.
So it's like I don't know exactly, because it was also like felt bigger budget than I thought it would. Like, there's a lot going on. Like, there's that whole, like, crazy yacht and, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was definitely just, like, overall bigger. So I was just like, how small is it actually? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I will say I really enjoyed the moment. I thought it was really funny of them, like, bursting through the fence, like,
oh, yeah.
Like, showing up, like, at graduation was pretty hilarious.
It was definitely funny.
Them in that car was great.
There was maybe one too many slow motion hip hop. Just one too many.
Walks.
Yeah. So a lot of slow motion hip hop sequences.
Yeah.
Which is maybe why I feel like I thought it felt more commercial. This is like a lot of slow motion. But I feel like there was a character I wanted to point out, but I can't. Oh, the girl from Sense8 was in it. As the teacher. That was cool. I like her.
Oh, is she from Sense8?
Yeah, she's on Sense8.
She was pretty cool.
Yeah, totally.
Liked her.
I like that whole thing too, that they just like think she's cool, so they're like really excited to, you know.
Yeah, like got her number and like, she like hooks up with the student.
Yeah, it's
Mexican.
outrageous. And also a thing that I didn't necessarily see coming, but it's like such a thing, but worked, that both their interests like end up hooking up together or whatever. I guess that's a big spoiler.
Yeah, that's a big spoiler. That was something I didn't see coming at all.
It was like in the scenario that they don't achieve this, that's the best case scenario for like the movie. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's funny.
I thought Jason Sudeikis as Principal Brown was pretty funny.
He was good. When
he's the Uber driver and then the porn video playing through the audio. It was pretty good. Billy Lord's character is like the girl that's just like everywhere.
Oh yeah. It
was interesting.
I thought some of her parts were funny, but it was a little too much by the end for me.
Yeah, it was like sort of over the top.
Because they like kept, it was like the gag that they thought they could rely on. Like, oh, it's the winner, so they throw it in every time. It's like, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't winner. Like, I think certain things that she does are funny, but like the jumping off the boat with the fireworks, I was just like, what? Like,
the whole boat thing, yeah.
insane.
Like, why'd she jump off the ship?
Yeah, like, what is this? Just felt like something that they were like, wouldn't it be crazy if she just like did that? We're like, sure, let's do it.
She's like this wild, crazy girl, you know?
Yeah, it was good though.
I'd say like the hookup scene was totally something I didn't see coming.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
But it was like, oh, you kind of get your classic one night hookup high school thing, but in a different way.
Yeah, totally.
You have it with a gay character, which was definitely something we haven't seen before.
Yeah, just like a good
Definitely
thing
memorable.
to normalize in like a teen comedy.
Yeah, and it's like there were actually a lot of like older couples in the theater.
Yeah,
this is going on. And I sort of looked over at my wife and I was like, you know, I bet some of them are uncomfortable, which I'm kind of glad. It's like it forces you have to realize like these like older generations are going to go see this movie, and now they're being forced to reckon with this kind of reality.
Yeah,
now
totally.
you know, like that this does exist, that it's okay if you're gay, and you know what I mean. Like, I think that really helps bring representation up to the forefront too. And it's just seeing like these older people around me, which were clearly, you know, of a certain political slide, as I'll say, having them reckon with that, seeing them having to deal and be like, oh, this, you know, this is okay. It's like, I don't know. I think that does a lot of good. What I'm trying to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, yeah, it's like I was saying something similar earlier. Just it's like this is a good. Like no, but regardless of how much I like, maybe it's better that it is an accessible movie. So just like this is a movie that people watch. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because like if you have like a serious movie about a gay girl in high school, people aren't gonna go like, oh yeah, let's watch that. You know what I mean? That aren't like necessarily like inclined to, you know. So it's a nice way of like, you know, because in the movie it's not presented in any way except for it's just like, oh yeah, that's just
it's just how it is. Yeah,
it's never really questioned either, which is nice. So it's just like no,
and it's not just her.
Oh yeah,
right. And it's not just like her where it's like isolating. It's like it's a very common thing throughout the whole high school.
Yeah, totally. So it's just a nice like normalization of it. It's just like it's just a thing, you know.
Right. Exactly. Which is how it should be treated.
Yeah. Exactly.
Anyway. So no, that's a really good, I'd say, positive of the film. But yeah, I guess I don't really have any other thoughts. Overall, really had a good time, enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Worth checking for sure.
For sure.
And yeah, the theater had a good time as well. And very funny. I would give it 3.5.
Yeah, I'm 3.5 also.
Cool.
Wow, this has been a day of 3.5. Have we both given every single thing we've rated 3.5? All three?
Yeah.
We gotta get.
It's actually if you're listening to this podcast for the first time, that's actually all we rate our movies.
Yeah, it's just 3.5 every time. Yeah.
Every film is 3.5. Yeah. By the way, it's 3.5 out of 5.
Yes, of course.
Not 10. Some people do the 10 scale. But yeah, that's going to end our review of Booksmart. As always, you can find other episodes of this podcast on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, and YouTube. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. If you enjoy the show, please consider leaving us a review on iTunes. Every rating brings us to more listeners. Sorry, I read into your part there.
Fine. You can email us at listentousarantaboutmovies@gmail.com. Thank you to our Patreon producer, Sean Pierce, and our other supporters. And you, if you are so inclined, can be a supporter of this podcast by visiting our Patreon page and becoming a monthly patron for as little as $1. Just got to go to www.patreon.com/LTURAM podcast.
And that's gonna do it for tonight's podcast. Zach, as always, good time.
Good time, man. Good chatting.
All right, take care.
All right, take her easy.